What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Comics Q. And today is Wednesday. You know what that means. It is Anime Wednesdays here on the channel. If you're new to this channel, welcome to Comics Q, where we talk about TV shows, movies, anime, and maybe, just maybe one day, we'll finally cover a comic book. But that's not up to me. As you know, or may not know, my name is Seth, and I am in control of the anime content that goes through this channel, whereas Q handles essentially everything else. Now, while we're still new to the system, I'm still new, getting sorted in, so Q came up with the idea of having my current top 10 my current top 10 anime that I watch. Q put together this slideshow for me. Thank you, Q. When you edit this, I'm not ready. How dare you? Now they know. But anyway, let's just get right into it here. Number 10, we have an anime that's near and dear to my heart. It's at number 10 because, things change, but this will always hold a special place in my heart. It's the Dragon Ball series or franchise, whatever you want to say. From Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, and now Dragon Ball Super. And even though he didn't put it on here, Dragon Ball GT was there for some time. Dragon Ball's just very nostalgia filled for me. I grew up with the show, as probably a lot of other people who got into anime did. Just all the characters. My favorite character was Gohan growing up. All around, it's just very fun show. Just isn't all there in terms of what I like now, but still really good, near and dear. Alright, number 9, Seven Deadly Sins. This show, you may not know, well, you may know about. It's still pretty popular, but it's just as anime as you can get, really. It's got a bunch of fan service in it. And this show is number 9 for me because it has a bunch of moments that make me laugh. It's very much like Dragon Ball in ways of spectacle and power. And I have a bunch of friends who like this show, and I like this show. That's why it's at number 9. I had debated on whether or not to put this on the list, but I thought, why not? For the heck of it. My list changes from here and every now and then, so it's fine. But yeah, the show's about, you got in the center there, blonde boy, that's Meliodas. He's the main character along with a white-haired girl, Elizabeth. And they go around and it's like medieval type magic stuff mixed with Dragon Ball. It's pretty cool. Anyway, going on to number 8, we have Tokyo Ghoul. Now, this show for me is something that helped me really get into anime, because it was during that phase of me in my youth where, edge was the new cool. And this show is as edgy as it can get, to be honest. Really liked the character Kaneki. I thought, they portrayed him very well. And in the first season of Tokyo Ghoul, I really enjoyed it, and I heard that the manga was really good and the anime stuck true to the manga, so I read it. All around, very good show. I recommend it, but be forewarned, there's a lot of edge to it. So if you're not into that, or gore, or anything, don't watch it. But let's keep on moving down the list to number 7, where we have The Tale of Worst One. Now, this show, for me, was one of my, as I started getting into anime, along with Tokyo Ghoul, this one was one of my favorite anime when I first got into the genre. I just really liked this show, and it set up a season 2. I think it came out back in 2013. I may be wrong, though. But I just really love this show. It's about you have these somewhat teenagers slash college students who go to a school to be trained in sword fighting and sword skills, and each person is born into a family, and each each one of them has their own special magic that they can use, but the main character doesn't have any, so he's the worst one. But turns out show is really good. Highly recommend this show. It is a bit fan servicey here and there, but all around very good show, very good story. Highly recommend. Next one, at number 6, we have Cowboy Bebop, another classic from my childhood. I remember when I was really little, me and my dad sometimes watched it here and there. And now that I'm older, I went back and rewatched it, and it really stands out nowadays. Very good sci fi show. If you like space bounty hunters and it's a cowboy type, it's like the old westerns in a sort of way, but it has that anime spin to it. Very good show, very likable characters. All of them have great chemistry together. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. Moving on to number 5, though, we have one of the shows that came in with a bang the past few seasons, and I've been hooked on ever since. It's still airing. The Rising of the Shield Hero. This show, holy shit. I cannot praise this show enough for what it's done with the isekai genre or the being transported to another world genre. Like, Sword Art Online brought that into the mainstream, and I feel like this show is the pinnacle of that genre. It just does everything so well, from the characters to the plot. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not throwing fan service in your face. It's keeping it real, whereas Sword Art Online sort of went off into a harem for a bit. This show is just amazing. I cannot recommend this show enough either. If you're into fantasy style shows, give this a watch. It's great. Going on to number 4, we're going to get into shows. Yep. Number 4, we have Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. This anime came out in winter 2018. Not winter 2000, fall 2018, I believe. And my favorite type of anime are slice of life anime with every twist here and then, and this is just what that is. You have the main character, well, two main characters. You have the guy who's named Sakuta, and you have the girl who's named Mai. They have a great chemistry together, and the show is about them and weird stuff that happens in their world, and all around. If you like shows with good romance in it, I highly recommend this show. Like, I really loved going through it. The ending somewhat killed it for me because it sort of just ended, but other than that, the show was amazing. Moving on to number 3, though, we have Angel Beats. Now, this goes way, way back. This is one of the first, if not the first, anime I saw outside of mainstream, like Dragon Ball Z type stuff. And this show, like, just looking at the pictures here, I hope you can tell that this show has a lot of personality to it. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but it takes place in a purgatory type area where these pretty much college students slash high school students, as is with most anime, uh, have lived a shitty life in their real life, so they're transported into this purgatory to somewhat accomplish what they couldn't accomplish in real life. All around, the plot is really amazing. The only problem is the anime's pretty short, only being 13 episodes and an OVA, as you can see on the picture on the left. Like, I feel if it got the more standard now 24 episode type ordeal, then the characters would have been more fleshed out and it would have had a bigger impact, but it still had a really big impact on me because the show just covered so much stuff that I've even dealt with in my life, and I just really love it. But moving on to number 2, we have the Game of Thrones of anime, Attack on Titan. This show has had me hooked since 2012. The wait for season 2 killed me, and season 3 is reaching its pinnacle point with what's in the basement, because that's what the show is really about. It's what is in the main character's basement. Last week we talked about this show. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Talked about where it'll be headed, so I won't stick on this show too long. But all these characters are really likable, and there's a lot of twists and turns you won't expect. So if you really liked Game of Thrones but don't want a shitty ending, watch this anime because it's still going on, and it's going on strong. And my number 1 favorite anime of all time is Clannad / Clannad After Story. I had this recommended to me by, well, not recommended to me. I've heard this one YouTuber talk about this show a lot. That YouTuber was the Anime Man, and he really liked this show. So I thought I'd give it a watch. This was around when I was 15, 14, 16, somewhere around there. But man, did this show just hit me, because it's a slice of life anime that really hits some issues with at home and stuff. And I know I say and stuff, but I don't really want to get into spoilers. It's just all these characters go through things that people go through in their lives, and it really hits home how real it is. And in After Story, you get to see the aftermath of what happens after they graduate high school and go into their adult lives, which is a phase that everybody goes through, and it really hits it in a relatable way. I can't praise the show enough, as with most shows on this list. So I really, really would recommend the show to everyone. Like, while the first season is pretty harem-y and it's got a lot of anime tropes in it, if you stick through it and watch Clannad After Story, it'll have the biggest impact any show could have in an anime. It's just really, the animation's breathtaking for the time that it was released back in the early 2000s. And the music is great. The soundtrack, can't praise it enough, honestly. But as of right this moment, when this video goes up, these are my anime I'd say are my top 10 favorites at the moment. Will probably change in the coming months / year. But for right now, pretty sound with this list. Make sure check out some of these shows if you want. You don't have to, I guess, but if any caught their eye or I gave you a good suggestion, let me know in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for next week. Don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. Still trying to figure it out. But Q will have videos coming up either Friday or Thursday. And if not, well, make sure you hit that subscribe and notification bell to get alerted when these videos go up of any sort on the channel. Hit the like button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.